Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm so excited to welcome our next guest. We have a mom and a daughter, and it's Monica and Alia Wisco, and they're coming to us via Skype. There they are. And we're so excited to have you guys on the show. And I wanted to open up and have you guys tell a little bit about why we're so excited to have you on the show. Why it's like sort of like mystery date. That we're, what's your line? So I don't know who wants to talk first, Monica or Alia, but welcome and tell us who you are and why we particularly love you.
Okay, well, thanks, Shannon, for having us on. We're here, me and Alia. I had actually reached out to CARD. We recently moved to Massachusetts, and I reached out to CARD because I heard there was one near us, and let them know that we had moved here and was wondering if they did any follow-up research, because Alia had graduated from CARD a couple of years ago, and I was just interested in what were things that CARD was doing following up with kids that had received services through them.
And people are probably like, well, that's an interesting term, a CARD graduate. What does that mean? What does it mean that you're a CARD graduate? But I mentioned earlier in the show that Alia, I don't know if you know this, but you are featured in our opening video of Autism Live, that there are different kids that they show just a little picture of, like a 2-second video of, and you are one of the kids featured in the start of our video. Did you know that?
Yeah, I noticed.
And you look fabulous then. Now you're sort of not completely all grown up, but clearly a teenager. Is it a little weird seeing yourself at the start of a show?
Well, it's not really that weird, but I'm kind of just used to it.
Yes.
So
and we want to know all about you, Alia. We want to know all the things that you're into at this point, all the things that you do. But I want to start by saying, do you remember being at CARD?
I remember only like a couple of things.
Yeah.
Like when we were filming the video and we were playing Tea Party, like that part.
And that is in fact what's in the beginning of our Autism Live video. Is there's a second of you playing Tea Party. That was the day that I met you, when you were doing the Tea Party, because my son was there too. So you remember that. That was probably a big day because there were a lot of cameras everywhere. What else do you remember?
Yeah. Like, I still remember you guys convinced me that we were making a movie when I was really getting on that video.
Well, and we kind of were. I mean, we were making a short movie, right?
Yeah. Well, sure.
Okay. Is that the only day you remember from therapy?
I don't think so. Like, when people came over to my house, they told me I had to choose to either play in the ball pit or watch a movie, and I just wanted to do both.
So you remember that. What do you remember doing? Did you do the ball pit or the movie, or did you end up eventually doing both?
I switched between the two.
Okay, I like that. So now,
Do you remember the stickers and earning the stickers?
I think so.
But it's all a little fuzzy, like, from your past. But now you're 12.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since you have been at CARD?
I don't know. We moved when we moved when I was 5, turning 6. So it was about like 7 or 6 years.
Okay.
Well, Shannon, you know what we did actually is we ended up moving to Utah, where there was no CARD available, and we wanted to continue services for her. So we hired a college student who trained through an online program with CARD, and she received Skype supervision through CARD and continued her programs for the next year following.
Wow. And do you remember that, Alia? Do you remember that person?
No.
Okay.
I remember Valerie.
I do remember Valerie coming over to my house. I just don't remember doing like the Skype stuff.
Oh no, Valerie did Skype on her own.
Oh.
With your old supervisor.
Oh.
So the reason why I'm kind of asking all these questions, Alia, is that there are a lot of parents out there right now with little kids, and they've been told that their little kid needs to come to CARD to get therapy, and a lot of times they feel like, oh, but that's gonna not be fun for them, or they're gonna have memories of not having a good time as a child. They want them to remember their childhood as being fun. And so here you are, you're somebody who's been through it, and they're afraid that their kids are going to think, oh, that was terrible and that was boring. But so far, all I've heard are fun things. Do you remember fun things from then? Do you remember things that were difficult or hard or challenging? Or, I think what people want to know is, did you not like having therapy at CARD? I think that's the question people want to know. Do you have any memory of not liking it?
I don't think I have any specific memory of not liking it, but I do remember the times when I loved it and I didn't want to leave.
Oh, what a wonderful thing to hear.
And she was very attached to many of her therapists, and they were very, very good with her. In fact, I think a few of them follow her on Instagram.
Well, and which brings me to my next thing. So now you're 12, and it's been a while since you've had anything to do with CARD. And clearly you are this amazing young woman, and you have an Instagram for people to follow. What kinds of things are on your Instagram?
Just pictures of me and other random stuff.
Yeah, what do you like?
Pretty much nature.
Uh-huh. And tell me a little bit about, so what grade are you in now?
I'm in 6th.
6th grade. And so where you are, does that mean junior high, or is that still elementary?
Well, it's pretty much middle school where we live.
Okay. And do you already know what you want to be when you grow up?
No, actually.
Okay. But I understand that you are really into art, music, theater, and that you have a deep passion for environmental preservation.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit about those things. So, do you have opportunity to do drama classes or be in musicals for musical theater?
Yeah, me and my brother are currently doing Seussical, and I'm playing the Sour Kangaroo. And my brother is one of the Wickersham brothers.
Uh-huh. And is that through school, or is that something you do after school?
It's like a theater, community theater. We do it every Sunday.
And have you been in musicals before?
Yes, actually.
Okay. And would you say that's the most fun thing that you get to do, or just one of the fun things you get to do?
Probably one of the fun things we get to do.
Yeah. And what kind of art do you like to do? Do you like to paint, or what kind of art are you into?
I'm mostly into painting, but I want to try getting into watercolor because I've seen those Instagram videos and they're pretty cool. They use watercolor to make cool pieces of art.
Uh-huh. Cool. And so tell me, what is environmental preservation?
It's basically, I can't get the full definition of it, but in my definition, it's pretty much like trying to save the world, try recycling more, and also there are these things where you can reuse plastic, you melt plastic and you make pieces of art out of it.
Have you seen the thing where they make the bracelets out of the pop bottles? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that ad. They said that if you buy a bracelet, you remove 1 pound of trash from the ocean.
Wow. That's a very cool thing. So I love that those are the things that you're super passionate about, but I also hear that you are somebody that you got a lot of friends.
Yep.
I would say that's her most passionate thing, is coming home from school and start the FaceTime. And we got friends calling and people chatting together, and she has friends from Utah and then Massachusetts that she hooks up together, and they talk for hours.
And what kinds of things do you talk about?
I don't know, anime, Undertale.
Uh-huh.
I think the most we've ever talked is 2 hours.
No.
Yes.
It's been more.
No, it is not.
Well, you know what? We love that's what your life is all about, because you're a 12-year-old girl. That's what your life should be about, right? And that's the thing that's really inspirational to so many people. So now, if I can, I want to talk a little bit about what you remember and what your mom remembers about why you needed to come to CARD. Why did you have to spend any time at CARD?
Do you want to talk or you want me to? No, you talk. Oh, okay. So when Leah was, I would say about 2.5, I really noticed that there were a lot of social problems for her. And I took her to the doctor, and the doctor had her tested, and she tested moderate functioning autistic. And it was pretty shocking to me at the time. I'm a psychotherapist. I work with trauma, not necessarily developmental disorders, but it kind of shakes your ground a little. And I started to do a lot of research and went to UCLA and attended a conference on autism and watched a video that they showed of a child receiving ABA therapy. And during that video, I remember that it was Alia on that video. And I had never been able to describe to people what it was, that she had no play skills. She had no ability to interact or look at someone or respond in any way. That she had just no interaction with the world. She lived in her own world, and she was a very happy child.
Yeah.
But there was just no interaction with us. And so then I was on a mission to find how I could get ABA for my child.
Yeah.
And that led me to CARD.
And when you started at CARD, how old was she?
She was 3 years and 4 months.
Okay. And did they tell you how many hours they wanted to prescribe for her to do per week at that time?
Yes, we were right at the tail end when they were still offering the governmental grants to pay for ABA. This was prior to insurance covering ABA. And she received, with that grant, 40 hours a week of one-on-one individual in the home ABA.
And when they said to you and your husband, you know, we want to do 40 hours a week with your 3-year-old, did you think that that was okay, or did you completely think that was preposterous?
You know, I had done a lot of research at that point, and I knew that I had read that if you hit a child between the ages of 3 and 5 with 30 or more hours of ABA, there was a really high percentage of recovery.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted, absolutely. And I was shocked we got that. I was shocked we got in, because the waiting list was 9 months long. But I received a call, and they said, let's bring her in for an intake. And so it was a blessing.
Because this is so great for me to hear, because we have so many families who will say, well, 40 hours is just way too much for a 3-year-old. You know, now insurance will pay for it, but families are turning it down.
Oh my gosh.
I know, doesn't it? It just, me
yeah.
too. It makes me go, no.
Oh, yes, exactly.
But
that's
they think it's too much.
A sense of urgency. I needed to get this in. I had a time period when I knew the brain was malleable and was, we could intervene with the neural networks. So I was wanting more and more and more, whatever we can get, as soon as we can get it, because I felt that urgency.
Yes, and then the next thing that parents say is, well, I want to make sure that they have time to be a kid. And for somebody who's been through this with your daughter, you know, I want to hear from both of you. Do you feel like she had time to be a kid, and did this set her up to be who she is now?
Oh, I think she was a kid all the time through ABA. Everything, especially the ABA we were receiving through CARD, they brought in so much games and play and natural environment and social skills in social settings. They would come to the grocery store with me. We would go to the park. We would do all the normal things that you do with your child, but always the assistance and always the learning going on.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like she lost anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a sacrifice on the family's part.
Yes.
I couldn't work. I needed to be at home with her and providing that treatment. But it was worth it.
I was just going to say, at this point where you are now, looking back, if you had it to do over again, would you still have done it?
Oh, 100 times over.
Okay. And so, Alia, hearing all that,
she has something to say.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Well, it's no wonder that that we barely have much money.
To pay for all your services?
Yeah. A lot. How does that make you feel to know that the whole family pitched in to make sure that you had what you needed?
So it makes me happy because, like, at least I have someone, like, supporting me.
Yes. Yes, and that's the truth. And you have more people than you probably know, Alia, who wish you well and who are so thrilled that you, because you're your own person now. So I got to ask you, what words do you use now to, is the A word a part of your dialogue at all now?
No.
No.
You know, Shannon, it's interesting because we haven't really said much to Alia over the years. Um, it was probably about 4 months ago. I sat down with her and I said, Alia, let's talk about your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her the story of Card, and I think it clicked for her. She goes, "Oh, well, that makes sense now."
But what's interesting is that I also want parents to always see that if you put the time in early and the recommended time, that there is the possibility that you can get to this point where the word autism is not a part of your day. It's not a part of your life. It's certainly not something that's, at all getting in your way. It's not a hardship. It's not, but so it sounds like you don't use any words because a lot of people use the word recovery and other people have a very allergic reaction to that. We have some families that in medical terms, there are people now that are coding it autism in remission, which is odd to me, right? On insurance forms. But it sounds like you're not even using any words for it.
You know, she doesn't have any accommodations at school. She doesn't have an IEP. She doesn't need any of it. She was tested again, I think it was in 2017, and did not fulfill the criteria for the diagnosis of autism.
So there we are. There we are. Well, I want to congratulate you, Alia, and your family on doing such an amazing job so that you can have such an amazing life. And then I kind of want to pivot to, because I understand that you're a little into YouTube, or you're thinking about doing YouTube.
Yeah, the channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have your own channel?
Videos.
What kind of videos are on your channel?
Basically, like, animated mini stories.
Yeah. Do you just like to watch anime, or are you interested in being able to draw anime?
I've been trying to, like, improve on my anime drawing lately, since a lot of my friends are, like, really good at it, so I usually get some tips from them.
Wow. Well, I'm really excited to see what you end up doing with your life, Alia, and all the different people that you will influence in your life, because I think that you're an amazing person. And you have an amazing story. But I think the most amazing thing about your story is who you are right now. That's a little, yeah. Okay. And I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us, and let you know that anytime you want to come and be on Autism Live, we have time for you. Sometimes we've asked other people sometimes to cover events for us. If we have something that's going on in your neck of the woods, are you at all a junior journalist? Would you be interested in covering something for us sometime? Maybe. All right.
I think she would love that.
I think that'd be a kind of a fun thing. I also, we have cooking show things that we do here on the show, that we have somebody from the Taco organization that does cooking shows, and we've been talking about, we've got a couple of kids who are saying that they would like to feature some recipes. So if there's ever a time that you would like to videotape a recipe for us and have us show it on the show, we would love to do that. Do you ever cook?
Well, I cook a bit.
Yes, she does. She's always experimenting in the kitchen, we'll say, whether it be food or slime.
Well, and the other thing is that we love craft things too. If you ever wanted to show us how to do a craft, like make slime, and do a video on that, we would love to feature that here on the show.
She makes her own squishies.
Well,
she mixes chemicals and makes squishies, and then
I do
paints them.
I kind of do slime more.
You do slime more? See, I have tried to make slime, and I have not been good at it. There's something that I clearly do wrong, but I tried to make the slime that was glow in the dark. So I think I added something wrong. Have you ever made glow in the dark slime?
Yeah, you need glow in the dark glue.
I must have done something. I must have added the wrong, because it didn't ever make slime. It made glue. I did something wrong. Is it borax that you have to add?
Yeah, it's called borax, or you could also use Tide laundry detergent, or if you want to use contact lens solution, you have to make sure you add baking soda first.
I don't think I knew that you could do contact lens solution.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, if you're ever interested in making a video, we'd be happy to feature it. Sound good? But thank you for being willing to share your story, because there are a lot of people out there who are very busy living their lives and don't take time to tell people, hey, this happened before and here's where I'm at. And I think it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, I appreciate you. You've given me my inspiration for the day. You guys have a great weekend, okay?
You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, you guys. I just want to cry, because I know so often you guys will write in and you will say, you know, if this is so great, where are these kids? And we try really hard to balance people's privacy with being able to give you that inspiration. And this family was so wonderful to say, we want to tell our story. So what an amazing thing. This is why I push you all the time. This is why it's so important. Get that 40-hour program going. If you've got a 3-year-old, please, 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 please give them the opportunity to have the chance to get there. And if you're, you know, I want to be clear that all kids don't have the same outcome, right? But CARD has researched what gives your kid the best possible opportunity to get to that best outcome. What are the things that go into the recipe that make the best possible outcome? And they've had 3 things that have stood out clearly, that they have said, when we see kids that do this well, there are 3 things that we can identify and go, this went into the mix. And what are they? Number of hours. And for a 3-year-old, you really want to get to 40. I know we say all the time 25 to 40, but please get to the 40, right? Do the full prescription, And I've just come back from offices where I've said to people, what's your prescription? And they gave me a number, and I was like, wait a minute, is that your prescription? No, that's what was asked for the hours based on what they said they were available. Please make sure you don't have it work that way. Do the full prescription, which for a 3-year-old should be 40 hours, honestly. So that's one of the 3 things. The second thing is to have a trained BCBA somewhere on your case. They don't necessarily need to be the person living there, but that at least once every 2 months that trained BCBA, the one really with a lot of experience because they design the program, looks and says, let's go this path, you know, at this point. And then the third thing is parent involvement. And really, I think that goes through whole family, whole community involvement. But when the parents learn the techniques that the therapists are doing for the 40 hours, that means that 40 hours becomes 60 or 80 hours. Because every waking opportunity, every moment is an opportunity for learning for our kids to absorb. So we want to be able to follow through on what the therapists are doing. So those are the 3 things. If you can be doing those 3 things on a daily basis, you can be rest assured that your child will get to their best outcome. If you are not doing those 3 things, I cannot guarantee you that, and that will eat at you. Please do those 3 things. For many of our kids, they can get to the point where they no longer qualify for an autism diagnosis. You saw that beautiful young woman and talking about her friends and her Instagram and her life. And she is in no way, I know it's almost April and people are going to start telling you that ABA is terrible and that the kids are all programmed and, you know, that they're made to feel bad about themselves. And believe me when I say to you, if you are in an ABA program where that is happening, leave. A good quality ABA program does not do that. CARD does not do that. So please, please, please get what you need and do it for a few years so that the rest of their life is better. They won't have these horrible memories of something. What they remember is great people playing with them. That's what they remember. Okay. And I will find out, somebody wants to know what her Instagram is. And because she's a minor, I didn't want to put her on the spot, but I will find out with Mom if it's okay to tell. All right, you guys, absolutely so thrilled that we had an opportunity to have them on. Isn't that inspirational? Okay, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and do our mindfulness moment before we run completely out of time. Stick with us.